and today I'm going to show you how to use a vacuum former to make a perfect nose every time. The first thing you're going to need is one of these. This is a vacuum former. This is a dental one. There's a link to this down in the description below. For what you're getting, it's really not that much money and you can do so much with it. So now a quick overview on how this thing works. Before you do anything, first you have to have a mold of what you want to vacuum form. 3 examples here. These are 3 different noses. I have one shaped like this that you can see here, and I sculpted one like this, and then a little nose like that. I sculpted these out of wood, but I've seen people use epoxy and clay and all types of things. But I personally have had the most success with wood. First thing you do is you load in a piece of plastic. This is styrene. Some people use ABS as well. This one that I have now is 1/16 of an inch thick. It comes in a big sheet and then you cut it down. This is cut down into 5-inch squares, which fits this machine perfectly. I have links down below of the ones that I use. So you take one of these sheets and you fit it in right inside there. The next step is to turn the heating element on, which is this part up here, and it gets extremely hot, so you must be careful. Then you push this lever down to raise it up, which heats it evenly. While it's heating up, I like to put my form inside so that it's ready to go. A rule of thumb is to let it sag about half the width of the mold that you use. In this case, it only needs to sag a little more than 1/4 of an inch. Once the plastic starts sagging, you flick on the vacuum and lower this down. That creates a suction that wraps the plastic around the mold. For the demo, I'm going to use the teardrop nose. Here we go. Start off by placing this plastic inside of the machine. I'll turn on the heating element, and raise it up. A warning on this machine, the heating element gets extremely hot. Now I can see that the plastic's starting to get soft. Oh yeah, it's starting to sag down already. I'm gonna put this mold right inside there, turn on the vacuum. Can you see it sagging a little bit? Let me turn it. You can see the sagging. I'm gonna turn on the vacuum. And it's that fast. You can see that it completely wrapped around the nose mold. Another reason I like using the wood is I notice that the molds sometimes are hard to get out. So what I use is one of these little hook screws, and what I actually do is I twist it into the back of the wood so I have some leverage to pull on. Then using pliers, you can just pull it right out. Just like that. The easiest way to cut it out is with snips. And there you have a perfect little nose. All right, here we are. We're done with the wooden molds, so we can put those away. The first thing I like to do is put spray adhesive inside the noses. And flip them back over and spray the tops of them. And then spray the back of your fleece. This is a great way to use up little scraps of fleece you have lying around. Now the trick to this is to stretch the fleece around the form so it's even. Stretching it really tight and then just wrapping it around that form. Trying to make sure that there's no wrinkles, pulling it tightly. Then use an old pair of scissors that you're not worried about getting gummed up, and trim maybe about 1/4 inch away from the edge of the plastic. So it looks kind of like that. And now since we sprayed the inside of that, it's easy to tuck those edges inside. Again, trimming those edges. And then tucking those edges in too. Make sure you pull it tightly so you don't get any creases. And the last one. What helps is this fabric has a lot of stretch, so you can really get it perfectly even. Some people might be wondering, why not just cover the wooden sculpture? There's two reasons. First of all, I can use the sculpture to make as many of these molds as I want. Also, when you wrap the shell in fabric, you're able to tuck the ends inside of the nose. That allows it to sit perfectly flush to the face without having a lot of bulk behind the nose. And since the fabric is going all the way to the edge, you're actually able to stitch these noses on, which is the best way to attach them. Now, I know a lot of people who use the vacuum former to make eyes. I personally don't like to do that. The reason why is when you vacuum form eyes, you don't have a good way to attach it. The circumference of the eye is the only surface area that is touching the puppet, which doesn't make for a good attachment. However, with the nose, the fabric goes all the way to the end so you can stitch it on flush to the puppet. The only time I really make my eyes hollow is when I'm making an extremely large puppet. That helps cut down on the weight. The technique I use for making professional eyes is actually making a mold and casting them solid in plastic. They're a lot more durable and they have a solid back, which makes it easy to adhere to the puppet. That's it for now. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And I do read all your comments. I'm pulling some ideas for future videos from them. See you next time. And it's that fast. You can see that it completely...